I want to again officially welcome everybody to today's webinar. Glad to have you. We're really excited about today's attendance and apologize again last week for any technical difficulties, but thanks for sticking with us and coming back along this week to join our GoToMeeting webinar today as we dive into and talk about the one-page marketing plan for vacation rental managers. Hopefully share some tangible ideas for you today to take back, implement in your vacation rental management companies, and be happy to connect with you all as well and share any questions or answer any questions that I can. A few housekeeping issues before we dive in here today. We'll give people a few more minutes here to log on as we go through these. I do have everybody on mute, but if you have any questions as we go, feel free to drop those in the chat panel. If you're having trouble hearing along the way or anything like that, drop me a message in the chat panel as well. I am using Prezi for today's presentations, which if you're not familiar with is a great presentation software. It's kind of new on the scene, creates a nice flow for things. One of the downsides of it that I have seen is that sometimes the Prezi can lag a little bit based on internet speeds and so forth. So if the audio doesn't quite seem to match the video's feed you're seeing on your screen, give it a second and it will catch up. I will try to change slides a few seconds ahead of time to accommodate for that as well. So with no further ado, we will dive in here today and start our conversation about the one-page marketing plan. You should have all received the spreadsheet by now, and hopefully some of you actually have emailed me about the spreadsheet and have had a chance to look at that a little bit. So that's really an exciting thing. It's a great resource. We're going to talk through that as you're kind of thinking about those things and looking at those items as a way to kind of plan your strategic marketing calendar. So we won't spend a lot of time looking at the spreadsheet together today, but wanted that to be available for you all as a tool to use as a resource. The items at the bottom of that are what we're going to be talking through today, and each of those little boxes on that spreadsheet, if you have it there, are meant to represent check boxes, items that you should be doing in a certain frequency based on the dates across the top to really find success in marketing. And this is kind of that one-page thing where you've got it all there together. Great tool for yourself to use, or if you have a staff person you're managing who does these things, to hold them accountable, or if you're working with a marketing team, an outsourced marketing team, and the ability to kind of see what they're doing and use that as a resource. And then the blank fields at the bottom there are for you to write in and kind of color in your boxes for other marketing things that you do. In our company, we kind of use the terminology a rhythm sheet, but just to be able to create a rhythm to your job or to the job of those that you're managing. So wanted to make that available for you all, and if you don't have that, look back in your email from us. There should be a link where you can download that off of our website. So as we dive in here today, one of the things we want to start with is kind of taking a look back at 2013. We're well into 2014 at this point. I'm sure the bookings are flooding in for you as everybody's preparing for busy travel seasons and so forth, with summer coming up just around the corner. We're seeing a lot of bookings coming in for our vacation rental companies, so you're well into the year. But to really start and really develop a good marketing plan, marketing strategy, you've got to look back a little bit at 2013. One of the questions I ask, we do a lot of work in the hotel space as well, and I've given this presentation at several hotel conferences. And when I'm in the same room with people, one of the things I love to ask is how many of us would be happy if our 2014 was identical to our 2013. If we were sitting here having this conversation a year from now, and you and I were talking, and I said, hey, how did your 2014 end up? Was it better than 2013? How many of us would be happy if it was exactly identical to 2013? Usually when I ask that question, a few people raise their hand, a few people who either kind of have their business as big as they want it and as occupied and booked as they want it, raise their hand. But usually about 95% of the people kind of look back at me and say, yeah, I'd like things to be different. I'd like things to be better. I'd like more bookings in 2014 than I had in 2013. I'd like my owners to know that we have a higher occupancy percentage and that they made more money. And if we can make our owners more money, then we as a vacation rental management company, of course, make more money as well. So usually that's the response I get, and it's an exciting place to be. But at the same time, if we want our strategy to be different, the next question I ask, or if we want our results to be different, want the results to be different, how many of us have made any major changes in our marketing strategy? Usually 95% of people say they want things to be different, but usually maybe 10 to 20% of people say, yeah, in the last year I've made some major changes in my marketing strategy. When we say major changes, I mean there's a lot that can kind of fall into that. But if we haven't made any major changes, but we want majorly different results, we start falling into the definition of insanity from Albert Einstein, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I'm a huge Albert Einstein fan. He's got some great quotes, but I don't want to be the marketing guy. I don't want to be the business owner, the vacation rental manager that says I'm doing the same things again in 2014 that I did in 2013, but I want it to be better. So if we know we want 2014 to be better, but we want the different results, we've got to be willing to make some changes. And today we're going to talk about creating a framework, creating a strategy, creating a formula for those changes for you. And I'm really excited about this and excited to kind of walk through it with you. Before we dive into some of that strategy, we want to talk a little bit about where we've been. You know, the last few years, a lot of business owners have used the bad economy as kind of an excuse that we've given and said, oh, the economy this, the economy that. We've blamed it on our politicians. We've blamed it on Wall Street. We've blamed it on whoever. But at the end of the day, the economy isn't something we can control, so we've got to look within ourselves, look within our markets, look within our businesses and say, what can I control? I can either fall victim to the market, to the economy, to the fluctuations that happen there, or I can make a decision that I'm going to outmarket my competition. I'm going to do a better job of getting in front of vacationers. I'm going to do a better job of getting my owners' properties in front of people when they're looking to plan a trip to my area. And that's one of the big things we want you to help you do today is get past that idea that, well, the economy's been struggling and get to this place of, you know, forget the economy. We're on an upward swing. We're going after this thing. We're going to outmarket our competition. We know people are coming to our area. We've just got to get our piece of the pie bigger. If you're in Gatlinburg, you're going to get your piece of that Gatlinburg pie bigger. If you're in Alaska doing fishing vacation rentals or whatever, maybe doing bear tours, I don't know, you got to get your piece of that Alaska pie a little bit bigger. So think about your area and say it's not necessarily your job to make the Gatlinburg pie bigger, but it's your job to make the Gatlinburg vacation rental your company's piece of that pie bigger. So we're going to work with you today to really help develop that strategy and dive into that. As we do that, as we say, okay, yeah, Matt, I'm excited, I'm buying in, I'm all about what you're saying, I know 2014 is going to be a great year, I know I need to do things differently, we've got to start with really sitting down and developing a successful marketing strategy. The first part of that we've covered a little bit there, but are we happy with our current results? Are we achieving the things we want to achieve? If not, what are the goals? What are our goals for 2014? What have we communicated to our property owners that we're going to do for them in 2014? What are our objectives within those goals? How are we going to measure the return on our investment? If we're going to do marketing differently, it usually means spending a little bit more money, but how are we going to know what's successful? How are we going to measure our return on our investment so that we can make sure we're delivering a return on the investment for our owners? And then what marketing methods are right for you? The same methods aren't right for everybody, but you've got to understand what methods are right for you. When we look at that, one of the things, I'm kind of a financial geek as well, and read a book years ago about the little blue book that beats the market. It was all talking about the stock market and how this gentleman had developed a formula to beat the stock market. And that sounds like such a great thing. It sounds like something that's, wow, yeah, I'd love to have a formula. But what would it look like, and who would like a formula for hitting your desired bookings goal, occupancy goal, revenue goals for 2014? What does that formula look like? Well, we know that if we want to get more bookings, if we want to get more people staying in our properties, we got to get our properties in front of more people. So we're going to use that assumption that more people looking at our properties is going to result in more bookings to frame our conversation a little bit. We're going to develop some strategies that really center around increasing the number of eyeballs on your properties. And we're going to measure that today by talking about visits to your website. So I'm not going to tell you to go participate in more VRBO or give HomeAway more money or any of those things. You guys give them enough money as it is. But I'm going to help you understand how can I become the leader of my own destiny a little bit to really dive in and understand and control your process and possibly move a little bit of your budget away from those things to some things that create more framework and more long-term results for you. So let's dive in here. Let's look at how we do it. We're going to talk through these different elements together and dive into some details as well as share some real live examples of things we've seen to really work well for our clients. So the first thing we're going to look at here together today is email marketing. Again, one of the reasons I love giving this presentation in person is because I get asked and have a lot of crowd interaction. But how many of us are sending email campaigns at least monthly? I say at least monthly Because what we've actually seen work the best, and you'll see it down there as one of the lower bullet points, is to send 2 email campaigns every month. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why 2 and some of the data that we've seen there, but 2 is really the key. Specifically, our email marketing is designed to serve 2 main purposes. It's all about staying top of mind, so getting our name in front of our customers, Gatlinburg Vacation Rentals, Seaside Vacations, Destin Vacations, whatever market you're in, whatever company name that you're with, putting your company top of mind. So every time somebody sees an email from you, whether they open it or not, when your name pops in their email box, they remember the great experience they had staying in your area, coming and being a guest at one of your properties. So we really want to stay top of mind. We also want to stay really relevant. And we use a lot of blog content and social media and email marketing to share our message and stay relevant with our followers, with the people that have subscribed and asked us to communicate with them. The other big piece is email marketing serves as an incredible tool for lead generation. You got 15, 20, 30,000 people in your database, or maybe you have a smaller database. Maybe it's just 1,000, 5,000 people. But email marketing is a great tool to go to your database and find ways, and what we really work with with our vacation rental companies is to find ways to get people in your database, those 1,000, 20,000 people, however many you have, get them to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm looking to come back to your area this year. I'd love to get more information. So we're communicating into that database to get them to raise their hand and to identify that they're interested in coming back and taking another vacation with us, and then having our reservations team call and follow up on those leads. So hot, active leads to follow up on. That's that bullet point there a little bit, but to turn past guests into repeat guests. That's a big part of what we're trying to do with email marketing. Another big part of it is to earn referrals from our past guests. So remind them of the great time they had and try to earn their business. So many people talk about their vacations with their friends. They plan vacations with friends, but they love to talk about them. They love talking about it on social media. They love talking about it, if they're picking their kids up and they're in the elementary school car pickup line, whatever. Everybody loves talking about vacation and where they're going. So if somebody, and this happened to me the other day, I was at dinner with a friend of mine, and his anniversary was coming up, and he's like, Matt, I'm looking for a great romantic spot to take Mary for our 5-year anniversary. I looked across the table and said, Brett, you have got to go to this place. You got to go down to this little vacation rental spot in Amelia Island, Florida. My wife and I went down there for a trip recently. We had the best time. You've got to go check it out. Now, if it'd been a year since I'd been there, maybe 2 years since I'd been there, and the Amelia Island vacation rental we stayed at hadn't communicated at all with us for a year, 2 years, do you think they would have been the first thing on my mind when Brett asked me for a referral of a great place to take Mary for his kind of upcoming anniversary getaway? Probably not. I probably would have had something else that was top of mind. But because those people stayed top of mind with me, they kept their message in front of me on a regular basis, they were top of mind, and they earned my referral. And I was able to push Brett and Mary to go down there, have a wonderful time, have a great anniversary getaway. So that's a great example. That's a real-life example for me of how email marketing impacts me. And I'm a marketing guy, so I'm used to the messages, so they kind of lose a little effectiveness on me sometimes, but it still worked. It still really worked for me. So there's 2 email campaigns I talked a little bit about that we like to send. The first is we really like to have a sales-style email. Push specials, packages, lead generation offers, which if you don't know what I mean by lead generation offers, you can kind of talk to me a little bit. We're not going to dive real deep into that, but hopefully you have some ideas there. I'd be happy to connect with you one-on-one if you don't. And then the other is to share relevant content and reasons to visit. What do you mean by relevant content and reasons to visit? We're going to talk a little bit later in our conversation today about blogging, but really that's what we're talking about. We're trying to get your name in front of and get your message in front of people that are looking for reasons to come by writing great blog content, putting that on our websites, getting ranked for Google, and then sharing that content with people with our past guests via email marketing. So tell them about the great things coming up. Tell them about all the activities happening. Give them an excuse to take a vacation and come and see you. So that's an exciting opportunity for email marketing. What we have seen working on email marketing, and hopefully the slides are keeping up with us, but that's our clients, and looking at the data we see, our clients see on average 1,500 visits a month and 25 bookings a month from email marketing. So when you average this across the year, you average this across our clients that range in size from big to small, we see about 1,500 a month, 1,500 visits a month, and 25 bookings a month coming from email marketing. If you try to put a dollar amount on that traffic, I mean, you can easily put a dollar amount on what 25 bookings are worth to you. Hopefully you know what your average booking is and you know what your commission is. You multiply those by 25 and you've got a value there. But But if we look at just what's 1,500 visits worth, I know a lot of vacational managers participate in Google AdWords or pay-per-click. Think about what you're paying for those clicks, multiply it by 1,500 visits, and that's another way to put a value on email marketing for you. So if you're not doing email marketing once, twice a month, you're missing a huge opportunity. Email marketing is something that's time-consuming, but it provides a huge return on your investment. So can't beat this drum enough. Really spend some time focusing here if you're not already. And then how do we measure that? How do we know if it's working? How do we track what our database likes, what they don't like? The most important metrics we're looking for are traffic, that 1,500 visits to the website, and then open rate. Open rate tells us that people are really interested in the content that we're pushing out. But open rate is not the end-all, be-all either, because just staying top of mind, whether they open your email or not, if you're in their inbox and they see your brand, they see your name, you've achieved top-of-mind awareness. So open rate's important, but don't get caught up on it. We really like to track open rate because it tells us if we have two campaigns that went to the same database, but one has a higher open rate, there's something about that campaign that worked better. Maybe it was the time of day. Maybe it was the subject line. These are things you should be starting to test over a period of time to really know what open rate's the best and start to develop more messages that look like the ones that work. It's kind of an A/B test kind of thing if you're familiar with doing A/B testing at all. So really encourage you to track those things over a period of time and really understand what works, what's driving traffic for you, what pieces of email marketing are really working for you. The next thing we're going to talk about, which I spoke a little bit about there, is blogging. Hopefully you have a blog set up on your website. When I say on your website, it needs to be physically built so it's a part of your website, not using Blogspot or Blogger or a third-party software off your website. Because if you do, it doesn't really help your site specifically. I've got a question that popped up in the chat panel there. Take a quick second to look at it, and then we'll address that as well. All right, so I will just address that question from Charles. Thanks for kicking that in. Let me get back in the screen here. But when we're looking at blogs, how many of us are really blogging at least weekly? We need to be blogging at least weekly, and when we're blogging, we need to be publishing blogs weekly on keyword-specific content. Well, what do you mean by that, Matt? I'm going to show you an example here in just a minute, but the key is you're not just blogging for the sake of blogging. I was on the phone earlier today with a vacational manager in the Chattanooga area, and he had a blog on his website, and it just said Fairy Tale Nights. And that was the title. And I talked to him and I said, hey, Rob, you know, Fairy Tale Nights is great. You wrote this blog, but it's not optimized. You really should be looking at how do you optimize that blog around the keyword people are searching for if they're looking for information on Fairy Tale Nights, which I believe is a play series that's come into their area. But when you're writing those blogs, and I'll show you that example, really be focused on keywords in your content, not just stuffing it with Chattanooga vacation rentals, but focusing on things people are searching for. When people are looking to come to your area, we want your message to get in front of them. And it's going to make a lot more sense here in just a second when I show it to you. But wanted to, as you're building your formula, when you think about I need to increase visits to my website by X to get the growth I want to see this year, you can count on blogging, if you do it well, for somewhere between 750 and 2,000 visits a month. Depending on the size of company you are, how many blogs you push out, those types of things, you can count on that for another 750 visits. The question that popped up in the chat panel was related to Google authorship and whether it's okay for an employee or for a guest blogger from a third-party company to write for you. It doesn't matter necessarily to answer that question who's writing the post, but you want your authorship set up so that the posts are coming out as if they look like they're from your company. So you can set up authorship and define who wrote the blog as far as Google's concerned. It can be anybody. It doesn't have to be the actual person. So a lot of people want the company owner or company president to be the name on the blog, whereas a staffer might write that, or one of my staff might write that. I mean, we write hundreds of blogs a month, literally, for our clients, but they all go out under our clients' names. So blogging is something that's very difficult for most companies to do in-house and do it well. Writing hundreds of blog posts a month and the thousands of posts we've written over the course of our company history, we've really refined our process, and we have an 11-step process we follow. We know when we follow these 11 steps, the likelihood Google will rank our blog, i.e. bring us more traffic, goes up significantly. So it's hard when you're trying to do that internally to really do that with a level of efficiency and effectiveness. So really recommend working with somebody who's an expert in that area, but making sure that the topic comes out under your own name. So So I promised you an example of what of how to do that. Before I do that, I wanted to give you this statistic. Looking at industry statistics and what we see, and then some statistics we get from some other marketing companies we partner with. Vacation rental managers who actively blog, and when I say actively blog, it's at least once a week, see 55% more traffic to their website than those that don't. So it's a huge opportunity. There's a lot of traffic. I'm not saying start a blog and overnight your traffic is going to go up 55%, but over a period of time you'll see a significant increase in the traffic to your website. And then we want to dive over here and look at this example that we talked about. So here's an example of a blog we wrote for a client. This client, we launched their new website. They started working with us September 1st, 2013. So about 5 months ago, 6 months ago. Their first blog post we wrote for them was what to know about Corvette Weekend in Eureka Springs, targeting the Google search term Corvette Weekend Eureka Springs 2013. We launched the website September 1st, published this blog September 3rd. September 5th, Google picked this blog up and ranked it number 2, and we were number 2 only to Eureka Springs Corvette Weekend's actual own website. We've dropped a little bit since then. A lot of people did follow-up blogs, but what we wanted to do is we knew people were coming to the area to come for Corvette Weekend. It's a big thing in Eureka Springs, and we wanted to get in front of people who were coming there so they knew that they could stay. This is actually one of our hotel clients, but that they knew that they could stay at our customer's hotel in the same way they could stay at your vacation rentals. So we wrote this blog to get in front of those people. Here's the actual results of what we saw from that specific blog post. So this is one blog post published 3 days after launching their website. In the month of September, it drove 152 page views, which was 131 unique visitors to this website. So 131 people found out about this hotel client, could have found out about your vacation rental company just by writing one blog post. You see that time on page at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. That's really strong. So not only do they come, but they spend a good amount of time on our site and looked for a lot of information. So this is an example of writing about a keyword-specific topic, Corvette Weekend Eureka Springs, and doing it in a way that really drove a lot of traffic to our website. So really excited about those results. And that's the kind of results that when you add them up over a period of time, get you to that place where you get 750 to 2,000 visits a month from your blog. Just to put that in perspective, if you get a 1% conversion rate, meaning 1% of the people that come to your website book with you, if you increase traffic to your website by 2,000 visits a month, 2,000 visits a month at a 1% booking conversion ratio, that's 20 bookings a month. So blogging with those statistics could deliver you 20 bookings a month. Who wouldn't take an additional 20 bookings? I'm guessing that would be pretty significant for everybody here, and that return on investment would be really strong. The next thing we're going to dive into here is a little bit about social media. How many of us have active Facebook pages? So when we're looking at social media, and when I say active Facebook pages, what I mean by that is you're managing it, you're posting to it 3 to 5 times a week, and you're seeing 5 to 10% growth per month. So when I say that question, I got a room full of people, everybody says, oh yeah, I've got an active Facebook page. And then I say 3 to 5 times a week you're updating it, and about half the hands go down. And then I say, how many of us pages growing between 5 and 10% per month? And at that point, everybody's hand goes down. And the 8 times I gave this presentation all over the country in December of last year, I traveled with a hotel group and did this presentation for rooms full of hoteliers and marketing people and hundreds of people. Only one person told me that their page was growing between 5 and 10% per month. To put that in perspective, the average page grows about 10% per year, and what I'm saying is your page should be growing at 5 to 10% per month. Every single client we work with is growing between 5 and 10% per month. And that's because there's a very specific Facebook strategy that we employ. A little bit I'm going to share with you today about how to get your page growing at that level. But as we do that, we're going to talk about a few things here and a few bullet points to share with you about social media. So the first thing we really want you to focus on to get that viral nature of social media working for you is to create engaging content that will keep your edge rank high. So that's a lot of buzzwords, so I'm going to dive into that a little bit. But what do you mean, Matt, when you say engaging content? I get that question all the time. What is engaging content? when I'm looking at engaging content, what I'm looking for is getting people to like, comment, or share the content that we have. So that by that, they're engaging with us. Like, comment, or share, using those kind of three main Facebook methods to engage with our content. We're going to talk a little bit about what engaging content is as well. One of the things we get a lot of engagement around is sharing great photos. I told you earlier, everybody loves to talk about vacation in social media. So if you can share some great vacation photos, sunsets, kids playing on the beach, puppies playing at the beach, people zip lining in the mountains if you're in the mountains, things that people get excited about, sunsets over the mountains, those types of things, those great photos of your area, of what's going on there, people really get ramped up and engage with that type of content. And when you get people to engage, that raises your EdgeRank. So if you don't know what the EdgeRank algorithm is, it's really Facebook's version of the Google algorithm. Google's algorithm decides what shows up in search results. Facebook's algorithm, the EdgeRank algorithm, is what decides what shows up in people's news feeds. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in people's news feeds because that's when they get exposed to your content and it has the opportunity to go viral. So those are kind of the big things there. The other big thing that can boost your engagement is ask for the like, comment, or share. If you guys have a sales background at all, or you've ever been to Sales Training 101, ask people to do what you want them to do. Ask for the sale. And the same way in social media, it's okay to ask for the like, comment, or share. And there's real fun, creative ways to do that. If you're putting something up, you could put up a photo of a nail salon, and you could put up a photo of a golf course and say, it's a great day in Myrtle Beach. Like if you'd rather be at the nail salon, share if you'd rather be at the golf course. And you've given people the opportunity to kind of have this voting mechanism built in, but you're using Facebook's like and share functionality to do that. And when you do that, you're getting people engaged with the content that you're producing. People love to engage. You just have to ask them to do it. You have to give them a reason to do it. And that's a great way to get that done. When we're looking at social media as a place to drive traffic to our website, it's a little tougher. It's hard to get people to move from a social media platform to your website. So this one's a little bit lower, but you can typically count on this for about another 150 visits per month. The great thing from what we've seen is when you do get someone to move from your social media page, your Facebook page, your Pinterest account to your website, that type of traffic actually typically has a higher conversion ratio. So they are more likely to take an action once they're on your website, as in become a lead, download a white paper, subscribe to a newsletter, fill out a form, or make a booking. We see much higher conversion on social media traffic than we do other areas. It's just the traffic is typically a little bit lower. So something to keep in mind, but a great place to really be investing some time. And then within that last piece, there's a lot of strategies that you can use to drive traffic to your website, which we don't have time to dive into every strategy today, but there's a couple for you that hopefully are meaningful and help you kind of work through that. The next thing I want to talk a little bit about is search engine optimization. I've taught hours and hours of webinars and done presentations on this topic, and we don't have hours and hours to give it today. But the big thing I want you to take away from this is a couple things, actually. But how many of us are doing ongoing SEO or search engine optimization on a monthly basis? You're working towards ranking for your specific keywords on a monthly basis. The big things I want you to take away from this are that search is constantly changing. You need to work with someone in this area that understands that and is working actively to drive that. A good search engine strategy in 2014 needs to go hand in hand with a good content creation strategy. If you've got an SEO company and all they ever talk to you about is link building this and doing that and doing this other thing, but they never talk about a content strategy, you are missing the boat in a huge way. SEO, search engine optimization, is something that can be really expensive at times. People like to charge a lot of money. But if you're not doing this as a part of a content strategy, you're absolutely missing the boat. We've been excited this year. We've been preaching content marketing for years and the value of it. But in the last year, the last 12 months, we have several clients that have leapfrogged some of their competition that outspends them 10 to 1 from a marketing perspective. They've leapfrogged that competition who's outspending them 10 to 1 because they were focused and they bought into this idea of content marketing blogging essentially is what I'm talking about, as a part of a good SEO strategy. We are such strong believers in the fact that your internet marketing should be integrated, meaning you should work with one partner to manage all of this for you, because really it all works together. Social media, SEO, blogging, email marketing, they all work together, and it's a great orchestra when it's playing together, but one instrument on its own can't really do that much for you. But when you really hone in on that, you need to make sure you have a content strategy as a part of that. Within that, you need to know your highest value keywords and where you rank for them. So your city name, your area name, vacation rentals, condo rentals, oceanfront rentals, look at what people are searching for, understand the traffic, target things that have high traffic, and then really go after that with an SEO link building strategy, but even more importantly, with a good content creation strategy, and have that in place. In 2000, my goal for you is to increase traffic from organic search by 20%. So if you're getting 10,000 visits a month, or you got 10,000 visits a month from organic search in 2013, go after a 20% increase. Count on that for about another 2,000 visits. If we look back at that conversion ratio to share a little bit, we typically see about a 1.5% conversion ratio on organic search traffic. So you can count on this for about another 30 bookings a month. So as you're kind of putting that formula together, pencil in organic search, 20% increase in 2014, and then multiply it by a conversion ratio that works for your website. Now, not everybody's website's the same, and that's kind of what you should expect to see from a value perspective out of your SEO. Absolutely believe that that's attainable for you if you go after it and couple it with a good content marketing strategy. The next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about today, we won't spend a lot of time here, but is referring websites. You need to be looking for local referral partners to link to you, and you can link to them, partially because of the SEO implications, but also because if somebody's over here at this whitewater rafting site, or they're over here at this winery site and they see a link to your website, they're in that planning their vacation phase, it's a great way to get really high quality traffic. It's high quality because they're already planning a trip to your area. They're already looking at whitewater rafting. They're already looking at going to the wineries. They're already looking at the horseback riding tours or whatever it is in your area, and then you put your message in front of them. So it's a great way to have reciprocal linking where you can kind of trade links with other people in your area, other local referral partners. And if you link to them first, that's a great way to kind of start that relationship. Chambers, state associations, those are also great ways to get links back to your website. You need to analyze your traffic from these at least annually. So if it's a free link from a restaurant or an activity in your area, you don't need to worry about really tracking it and understanding if it's working. But if it's something you pay for, a lot of chambers actually make you pay for traffic you get from their website, or the vacation group in your area, the visitors bureau, if you will. They make you pay for that. If you're having to pay for that traffic, you need to analyze it and understand the return on that investment that you're getting. If you don't have tracking in place on your website, I encourage you to work with your web developer to get that done. If you don't have it, you could probably assume between a 1 and a 3% conversion rate, depending how qualified and how high quality that traffic is. My challenge for you, if you will, and you'll see this on the spreadsheet if you download it, is to find 4 new potential referring websites each quarter to gain visits. So the first month of the quarter, just sit down and say, all right, I got to find 4 other people that are willing to link to my website, and share that with them. If you do that, you'll just build this base of people, and you'll find you do 4 and it'll be hard, and then the next time you'll do 4, it'll be a little easier. Maybe by quarter 3, you're like, wow, Matt, this is easy. I can rock this. Maybe I'm going to do 8. Maybe I'm going to do 10. Maybe I'm going to do 15. But it's a great way to really build your traffic to your site from really qualified sources. So really encourage you to do that. The other item I want to talk to you a little bit about today is seasonal packages. People are looking for a vacation experience. It's not just about where they're going to stay, but it's about the whole experience that they're having, but they're getting lazier and lazier. So something the hotel industry does really well is this whole package idea, and I've seen some vacation rental companies do it as well. But if you can really cater to somebody's laziness by creating a seasonal package at least once a quarter. So right now we should be creating packages for summer. Really should have been doing that a while ago, but creating packages for summer. Sorry, I had a question popped up there. It distracted me for a sec, but really make sure you're developing those packages, getting them out on your website, giving people a reason to come and making that work for people. And doing that, you make it as easy as possible for them to have a great vacation experience. So I'm going to give you a little example of this. At the beginning of December, we're always looking about 2 to 3 months ahead as a company. So at the beginning of December, everybody's in this busy time with the holidays and this and that. Well, we knew that the holidays, that Valentine's Day was just around the corner. When you know something like that's coming up, you want to get ahead of it, get ahead of people's bookings, and you want to get ahead of you want to get ahead of your competitors. So at the beginning of December, we contacted our clients, said, hey, Valentine's Day is coming up. We need to develop a whole experience for people, and we need to take Valentine's Day from being a weekend to being the entire month. So create this whole romance package and sell it all through the month of February. We know we get a lot of people having a romantic getaway on vacation, on Valentine's Day. How do we get them here the rest of February? February is typically a slow month for vacation rental companies. How do we get people to come to our location in February? You put this package together, you market it well through email marketing, through social media, through all these tools we talked about, and you give people an excuse to come the entire month of February, all spun around this whole romantic package and thing. And we had unbelievable success with this strategy this year. Our companies, our clients saw the best Valentine's Days they'd ever seen, but they also saw some of the strongest Februarys they'd ever seen because people were booking these packages for the other weekends in the month and then throughout the week as well if they couldn't make a trip on specifically Valentine's Day weekend. So that's just one example. Get ahead of it. Work with a company who can lead you in that conversation because we know how it is. In the day-to-day, you get busy doing other things. Before you know it, it's January 15th, and you're just then starting to think about your Valentine's Day package when you kind of miss the boat if you just start January 15th. So get ahead of that. Be a great opportunity for you to really generate some things. And kind of the last point there, if you do your seasonal packages well, you put them together well, you market them well, they'll thank you in bookings. So that's always what it's all about, right? We got to get the bookings. So the next item we want to talk a little bit about is local networking involvement. Internet marketing, content marketing, all these things are never going to replace boots on the ground. Know the businesses and universities that bring high number of travelers to your area. I think a lot of times people overlook universities and we just kind of let the big box hotels take them. Let the Ramadas, let the Hiltons, let the Hyatts, let those people take the business travelers. But if we've got condos or we got smaller vacation rentals that aren't hugely expensive, it's a great way to put a business traveler in an environment that's a little more comfortable for them. They got a little bit more room to stretch out. They have a kitchen if they want to cook their own meals. So don't let the big box hotels beat you out of this market. If you really network with the businesses and the universities bringing travelers to your area, put together a package for those HR people or whoever's responsible for finding accommodations for them, and get them into the mix. A great way to do this is hosting happy hours once or twice a year. If you have an awesome a big house that's got a beautiful kitchen and all these things, host a happy hour at that vacation rental, and invite these referral partners to come in, serve some nice wine, some nice hors d'oeuvres, and really get a chance to network with them and remind them that you're there. You're there as an option for their business travelers. Put together a little sales flyer on the one-bedroom condos you have or the two-bedroom houses you have or whatever's in your inventory that you can really put together and sell to these people, and then find a way to price that it's competitive. A lot of times it's hard for us to be competitive on a 1 or 2 night stay when we have a cleaning fee. But try to find some creative ways to price that so that you can fill some of those midweek bookings with corporate business that you wouldn't have had otherwise. We'd rather get a booking than have that inventory sitting empty. So really something I want you all to think about and some opportunities for you there, and be happy to talk to you about some of those as well. The next thing I want to talk a little bit about is analytics tracking. You need to be reviewing your analytics data at least monthly. If you're not reviewing your analytics data at least monthly, you could miss some pretty big red flags. Unfortunately, most of the people we talk to aren't really getting into their analytics very often. And when I talk about red flags, if you've got a link coming through from the chamber and the chamber's got this new intern working over there and she goes to update the website and accidentally breaks the link on that goes to your website. If you're only reviewing your analytics every couple months or every year, you won't notice the fact that you're not getting traffic from the chamber anymore. You might say, man, our bookings are down, but you'll have no idea why. But if you're reviewing your analytics once a month or once a week or once every couple weeks, then you get in there and you see, wow, traffic has dropped. I wonder why my traffic's down. You dive a little deeper, you realize it's traffic from referring websites, you go a little deeper than that, and you realize, wow, traffic from the chamber is down. I wonder what's up with that. So you jump on the chamber's website and you go and you find your listing there, and then wow, you click it and it's a broken link. Well, now you know why the traffic is down, because the link on the chamber website is broken. You send a quick email over and it gets fixed in a matter of minutes. But if you hadn't found that, if you hadn't been in your analytics regularly, you would have missed that and you would have lost out on who knows how many bookings before you finally caught on and finally found it. If you're working with a marketing partner, you should be leaning on them to lead this discussion. If they're not leading this effort with you, if they're not talking about analytics, they're not showing you the key performance indicators, then it's probably time for you to make a change. You shouldn't have to be an analytics expert. You should have someone that works with you who can understand that and help you understand what the data means. Their insight, their intuition should really lead you a long way in this conversation. And with analytics, you can really start to understand some of the return on investment, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. You can get into the place where you can say, wow, our bookings are up by $11,000 this month, or they're up by $100,000 or whatever, depending on how big of a company you are. And you can really dive in and understand, okay, why? Where are bookings up from? Is our organic traffic up? Is our email driving more bookings? What's driving those bookings for us? The next thing, and something unfortunately not very many marketing companies talk about, is return on investment. As a business owner, as a marketing director at a company, as a professional, you need to know and understand the return on investment of what you're doing. You should understand that marketing is an investment in the growth of your business, not an expense. If you see marketing as an investment, the question is, how can I invest more money to get a great return on my investment? But if you don't have a way to track that, if your marketing partner isn't leading that ROI conversation with you and helping you understand what traffic is worth and how it converts into bookings, you're missing a huge opportunity, and you probably have no idea where your marketing budget's going. You don't know if you should cut the budget, if you should increase the budget, if you should keep the budget the same. You just know, I got to spend money on marketing. You got to spend money to make money. Yeah, you got to spend money to make money, but you need to know what's working, what's not. So your marketing partner, again, should be reporting ROI as part of their monthly marketing report to you. We've heard horror stories across the board about different reports. One client told me they asked their company for reports, and they said, you know what, I'm too busy doing things for you to write a report for you. And I was like, wow, that really misses it. You know, as a partner, you should understand what each other's working on all the time, and they should be reporting those results. Just like when your kid comes home from school, if you have a kid and he comes home and he's got these great grades, whether he's a C student and he's got a B in a couple class or he's got straight A's, the thing is, hopefully, she comes home, and she's excited. She wants to show you her report card. She wants to show you the results that she's generated. She wants to show you her grades. In the same way, if your marketing company is doing a good job, they should be running to you at the end of the month saying, hey, Joe, hey, Brandy, hey, Susan, hey, Charles, look at this. Look at the data. Look at the numbers. Look at what we've done over the last month, and share that excitement with you. And in the same way, talk about what's coming next month. Based on the data we see right now, these are the changes we're going to be making next month. And they should have some really good insights for you there. But if you're not tracking return on your investment, you're in a tough spot to really understand what's working and what's not. The last thing I wanted to touch base with you on today, we're going to create some space for questions and answer. I wanted to keep this to about 45 minutes and allow for about another 10-15 minutes of Q&A. But the next step is, how do we apply what you learned today? You know, it's great to come to this webinar, great to spend an hour or so with me. Hopefully you've learned some things. Hopefully you're fired up, but how do you apply it? I'm happy to help you apply it. You know, this is one of the things I love about my job, is getting to work with people and help them take their marketing to the next level. So if you'd like to do a free 30-minute marketing consultation where we can dive deep on your specific business, so not talking generalities, but talk about your specific business, I'd be happy to do that with you. Simply email me, which my email address is there on the screen, Matt, M-A-T-T, at the letter Q, the number 4, launch.com, Matt at Q4launch.com. Shoot me an email. Be happy to sit down and have a go-to meeting with you and talk one-on-one about what's going on in your marketing, what's going on in your world. So take advantage of that offer. Also, if you'd like a copy of the Prezi we looked through today, I can make that available for you through our website. Be happy to send that to you. In that case, just send an email to me, Matt at Q4launch.com. You also can just reply to the email that you have gotten from us in the past with the links and stuff like that. So happy to get that to you. Had a question there in the chat panel about sending out the PowerPoint. My GoToMeeting wasn't working correctly. Absolutely. Be happy to get that to you. Just shoot me an email requesting it. We'll get you a copy of the Prezi or the PowerPoint so that you can do that and then connect with you. So do that. Take advantage of that offer. No obligation. Just want something to be available for you. The last thing here, you can jump in the chat panel to do this, to ask questions. A few of you kind of been doing that along the way here. But you have questions. We have answers. We're here to help. We're here to help you guys get the most out of your marketing, make the most out of your time. I'm going to go over a few questions here. Jump on our blog. You can also subscribe to our blog, like us on social media. It's a great way. We push out a lot of blog posts so you can get our content if you subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get an email monthly from us. It's at the bottom of the site. You can also subscribe to our blog, which you'll get a copy of every blog we send out. That's in the sidebar of the blog. But I wanted to take a minute to field some questions. I had a question about email marketing. If you have questions, go ahead and use your chat panel. Put those here. I'm going to answer a question on email marketing real quick that came in. How do we know what a great subject line is? You know, the subject line thing is something every marketing company is really always working on. The key that I would really recommend is creating something that's engaging, creating something that captures attention. Great ways to do that are asking questions or saying something unexpected. So ask a question, say something unexpected, lead the witness a little bit, say something that catches their attention. We did one last month and had really good results with it, and it was an email that said, we're changing some things. I think it was along the lines of, we're changing some things you need to know about. So it talked a little bit about change. It talked, you need to know. People feel like they're going to miss something if they don't know. And then it was talking about some changes to the website, some changes in marketing, some changes coming for this company. It had really good results. Had about a 50% open rate on that campaign, where the industry average is about a 15-20% open rate on that. So there's some ideas for you on open rates. The big thing, though, I talked a little bit about split testing, A/B testing. One of the things we do and that we look at is we look at two campaigns and say, okay, what are these two campaigns? Which one performed better? Which had a better open rate? Which had a better click-through rate? Which got us more leads? Which got us more traffic? And using that, put your campaigns, print out maybe the last 10 that you've done, put them on a whiteboard, put them on the wall in your office, and look at them and say, okay, what's the best elements of these 10 campaigns, and start bringing those things together to really create a powerful system. But absolutely dive deep on email marketing. One of the other questions here is about blogs and how to write a great blog, specifically the 11 tips I referenced. So those 11 steps that we follow is a little bit of proprietary stuff. This webinar is going to be posted on YouTube for people who weren't able to attend but wanted to see it. So I'm not going to share our secret sauce, you know, but I can give you a few things that we see people doing frequently that aren't necessarily best practices. One is the length of content. We see people posting a lot of stuff that's maybe 50 to 100 words. Google rolled out an update about a year and a half ago, specifically trying to target people who are spamming the system by writing really short blog posts. And best everybody understands is Google ignores any blog post that's less than 300 words. So right off the rip, your post has to be at least 300 words. We've tested everything. We've tested writing 1,000 words and everything south of that to find kind of a secret sweet spot. And what I can tell you is that what we do is write between 500 and 700 words, at least 500. You can go north of that, but what we tell our content team is 500 to 700 words, and then just allow that to naturally scale based on how much you have to say about a topic. Don't just feel like you got to throw crap in a blog post to get to 700 word mark. If you're at 500 and you've written everything there is to be written, then you're done. But if it's an awesome topic, you can get to 1,000 words, that's okay too. But really 500 to 700 words is a good spot, good target to be at, where it doesn't take you all day to write it, but it gets picked up by Google search engines. Again, it's a tough nut to crack. I really encourage you to work with somebody on that element. So, I have a question regarding social media here. It's the last one in my chat panel, so if anybody has any other questions, feel free to contribute those. Losing my voice there a little bit, but on social media, the question was, what are some other ways to boost engagement? Part of that is really looking at the time of day people are on your page. You can go into your Facebook Insights and it'll show you the time of day people are using your page as well as the day that's most frequent. So you can tailor your posts to those times of day. That'll really help you out. Another big part of that, besides time of day, is just asking questions. Ask somebody something. You're there to have a conversation. So ask people for a question, ask people to engage. I shared that idea of asking people to like, comment, or share something. That's a big thing to take away. But make sure that you're asking people questions, asking them to engage kind of on what's going on. Things like that. Would you rather be at the beach today, or would you rather be at the theme park today? Just ask questions, get people engaging with you. Another big takeaway is use great photos. I can't say it enough. I mean, everybody's here. Everybody knows the rise of Instagram and Pinterest and really photography-driven social networks. But if you're not using good quality photos in your social media, you're really missing the boat. That's a great opportunity to get people engaged with your content. So use great photos. And some people will even overlay a logo on that photo. So if it gets shared and goes other places in social media, your logo's out there, your web address is out there with it. But using great photos is a way to do that. Really recommend that people have like a photo asset library that you can share across your staff, so they're always available for you or for other members on the staff that are working on things. Or if you have a marketing partner, one of the things we're working to set up is more shared folders with our clients so that we can share content easier with our clients and not have so many emails bouncing around. So really encourage you to do that. Set up a Dropbox account. Google has Google Drive, which is a great tool to use as well, free tool that you can use to share photos amongst your team or with a marketing partner. So some great tips for you there. Again, really focus on building that social media following at 5 to 10% per month. I can't stress how important that is. I had another question here that popped in the chat panel. Adding referral links so as to appear gradual, natural appearance to Google. You agree? Absolutely, yeah. You want to add referral links gradually so that they appear natural. My recommendation of adding 4 per quarter isn't going to raise a red flag with Google. What's going to raise a red flag with Google is if you go from not getting any new links to getting hundreds of new links all at the same time. That starts looking a little suspicious. So if you're going to target hundreds of new links, you want to spread those out over a period of time. Otherwise, it's going to raise some red flags. The other thing is not to always use, a couple of years ago, everybody always wanted to use keywords in their what's called anchor text. So the text that you actually link would be text linked back to your website, not just the URL or the domain name linked back to your website. Google really cracked down on that and hit some people pretty hard. So if you're linking back to the site, you're building links from an SEO perspective, make sure that not all of your links contain text, and they definitely don't all contain the same text. So people were using that text that they wanted to rank for a certain word, like Myrtle Beach Vacation Rental. They'd link that text back to their site to tell Google, at this destination, at this link, you'll find information on a Myrtle Beach Vacation Rental. It's a good strategy, but they really cracked down on that. So maybe a 50-50 mix of just your domain name versus anchor text, and then in the 50% of the ones you use anchor text, you need to vary your keywords within that anchor text so it doesn't appear unnatural. So a couple things there. Definitely spread out referral links and don't overuse anchor text in those links, or you may get kind of red flagged by Google. But the 4 that I recommended to you, 4 per quarter, guarantee no matter what you do, that's not enough that you're going to cause problems with Google. So even if you do 4 a quarter and they're all keyword-rich anchor text links, you still won't need to worry about that. So great question, though, and happy to clear that up for anybody on the call today. So got a few more minutes here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat panel. I'll continue to hang out for a few more minutes. It is 2:52 for anybody who is trying to keep a tight eye on the clock. Maybe you're on lunch break and you got to get back or whatever. But do email me. Do take advantage of that free 30-minute consultation with a number of the people on the call today. We may get backed up a little bit on that, but I will absolutely email you and set up a time to schedule those next week or the week thereafter. Be also able to answer any questions you have in that time. So I want to thank everybody for attending. I really hope this has been valuable for you. Always appreciate any feedback on ways we can make these better as well. So if you have any of that, feel free to email me that as well. But look forward to continuing to stay in touch, and we'll be continuing to do webinars from time to time. So when you see those in your email inbox from us, always sign up. If you're not able to make it at the exact moment, we usually get those posted to YouTube for you as well and send that out afterwards. So Again, thanks everybody for your time. I'll hang around for a few more minutes if there's any questions. If not, I will look forward to chatting with you all over email, or you can feel free to call me. I believe my phone number was in the emails that went out to you as well. So be happy to chat with you via cell phone. So thanks so much. Happy marketing, and we'll talk to you soon.